So if you're thinking about buying a copy of Ableton Live or upgrading your current version, then I want to share with you some tips so that you get the best price possible. Ableton have just announced that they'll be releasing Ableton Live 11 in early 2021. It's currently November 2020 when I'm recording this video. And what they do when they announce the latest version of Live to come out soon is they say, right, we're going to do 20% off the current version, which is fantastic. And when you do buy the current version, between it being announced and being released, you get a free upgrade to the new version when that comes out. So you buy Live 10 Suite now for 20% off. And then when Live 11 comes out, you get Live 11 Suite for free, which is a really, really good deal. So what I'm saying is now is a great time to buy Ableton Live 10 because you're going to get Ableton Live 11 for free when it comes out. What I wanted to share with you though is that there are still some extra ways to save a little bit of money on that upgrade. So first things first, hardware products. This is an Novation Launchpad Mini Mark III. If you have a product like this or a Focusrite Scala or maybe an Akai keyboard, something like that, check because you're likely to have a license for Ableton Live Lite. If not, then have a look for one of these products. If you were looking at buying one anyway, this could be the time to do it because once you've registered a copy of Ableton Live Lite, what you're going to get is basically a customized upgrade price. Even on top of the sale, you're still going to save some money on that upgrade just by having an Ableton Live Lite registered. So that is definitely worth doing because, as I say, even on top of the sale, you're going to save a little bit more money by having Ableton Live Lite registered, and you've got a hardware product to use with it. So it's a bit of a no-brainer. Now, I've got a question for you guys. What DAW are you using? Are you using a version of Ableton Live? If so, which one? If not, are you using Logic, Cubase? Let me know in the comments down below what you're using and why. Now, a second way to potentially get a better price on an Ableton Live license is to look for people that are selling their license. Now, I've looked into this with Ableton, and this is absolutely allowed within their terms and conditions. You can transfer ownership of a license from yourself to somebody else, and that will give that user full access to use Ableton Live and authorize it, which is great. Obviously, it goes without saying here that you have to be careful who you buy from, where you're buying from, make sure that you're potentially covered, and basically just make sure that you trust that person. So obviously, because you're getting it for a bit of a lower price and you're buying it from someone, there is going to be an inherent risk. Hopefully nothing bad happens to you if you do that. I'd be interested to know if you do that, then definitely let me know. But yeah, that's another way that if you want to do that, you can have a look for people that are selling their licenses, maybe on places like Reverb, eBay. Have a look and see if you can pick up a good deal there for someone to transfer you their live license. Another thing that you could do is look for other retailers. So people like Sweetwater or Guitar Center in the US, or PMT, or people like that here in the UK. Whilst you're probably not going to get a lower price because Ableton is a relatively set price, kind of like guitars. You don't really get discount on guitars by buying through someone else. Whilst you might not get a cheaper price, you will get the option to pay by monthly payments if that's going to work better for you. So if you can't afford, I don't know, £400 or whatever it is for Live Suite straight away, but you know that you can pay it off over a year or so, then looking at one of these other retailers and putting it on finance is going to be a potentially better option for you. Obviously, if that's something that you look into, make sure you can afford the payments and don't put yourself into any financial trouble for this. It's just software at the end of the day. And the final point that I wanted to give you, which might be a bit of a controversial one, but I think is definitely worth exploring nonetheless, is using an alternative piece of software. So there's a piece of software called Bitwig, which was actually developed by people that used to work for Ableton. And there really are some quite striking similarities between Bitwig and Ableton. So I'm going to put the prices of Bitwig up on the screen now for you to have a look at. Their cheapest version, which is Bitwig 16 track at the time of filming, you can pick up for a really, really cheap price. If you're interested in me sort of diving into this software and showing you what you can do with it, then definitely let me know and I'll be more than happy to do a video on that. So let me know down in the comments. I'm interested in doing that myself. But if you've heard of the dance duo Camel Fat, they use Bitwig. They made their massive track Cola, Breathe, Panic Room, all of those great tracks using Bitwig. So it's something that you can absolutely use to a professional standard. And basically, it's going to be cheaper than Ableton. So it's going to be a bit of a learning curve, obviously. But if you haven't invested too much time in Ableton, then it could be worth switching over. And the workflows will be very, very similar anyway. So that's another consideration just to throw out there for you. So that's the advice that I have there for you today. If you guys have any advice for people picking up a copy of Ableton Live, then definitely drop that in the comments down below. Some of the best thoughts and tips do come from you guys, so please share those down below. It'll be great to have a look at those. If you have got a copy of Ableton Live or you invest in a copy of Ableton Live and you want to learn how to use it properly to make dance music, then I would highly recommend you checking out my Ableton Accelerator full course in the description down below for making house, techno kind of music as a beginner in a kind of non-intimidating way. This is genuinely the best solution that I've come across on the internet. I'm obviously biased, but I've seen the results that it's got for people and I'm really, really happy with it. So if you want to check it out, there's some information in the description down below. Thanks for spending a bit of time with me today, and I hope to see you guys again soon. Take care.